I am Tsar Nicholas II, leader of Russia. I come from the ancient Romanov family, descendant from Peter the Great. I was crowned in 1896 as the absolute ruler of Russia. I thought I could control everything and be in charge of all, but everything could change in a matter of seconds.
We are the kulaks, peasants. We work in bad conditions, and the Russian Empire doesn't give us good education. Also, some of the capitalists consider us like primitive people.
Here, there's no food. Diseases are very common. I am a loyal peasant to the Tsar, but there are other peasants who support the position, social revolutionaries who want good farming land from aristocrats.
Around 80% of Russian people were peasants, and their working conditions were dreadful, so they were unhappy with the Tsar. Also, Russia, being a big empire, had a problem with their population, since they had conquered many people and only a certain amount of them were loyal to the Tsar.
On Sunday, January 22, 1905, a crowd of 200,000 protesters, led by Father Gapon, came to the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg to give a petition to the Tsar. But he was not in the Winter Palace. Instead, the protesters made a regiment of soldiers. Without warning, the soldiers opened fire and killed many of the protesters. The Tsar lost the respect of the people.
Bloody Sunday started a series of strikes against the Tsar in many other cities. The Tsar's uncle was murdered, and it seemed that the Tsar may have lost the control of Russia. Finally, the Tsar was persuaded, unwillingly, to issue the October Manifesto that gave the people an elected parliament, called the Duma. Also, the Tsar stopped the war with Japan, and the revolution finally ended.
In August 1914, Russia entered the First World War. Tensions in the country seemed to disappear. The Tsar seemed genuinely popular with his people, and there was an instant display of patriotism. The Tsar's action was applauded. Workers, peasants, and aristocrats all joined in the patriotic enthusiasm. Anti-government strikes and demonstrations were abandoned. The good feeling, however, was short-lived. As the war continued, the Tsar began to lose the support of key sectors of Russian society.
Industrialization created a modern Russia. It also created more work in factories, but working conditions were terrible. Wars and the desire to grow made workers work for long periods of time and in not the best conditions.
Workers were tired of their working conditions, and with the help of other people, they started the 1917 revolution in order to produce a real change in Russian society.
During World War I, the Tsar chose to take command of the army himself, so he left his wife and Rasputin in charge of the government. But they did a terrible job. First, Rasputin had such an influence on the Tsarina that she hired and fired ministers on his advice, and many weak and bad ministers were accepted. All of this caused big insecurity in the society, because there was a belief that the Tsarina was acting for the Germans, so people started the 1917 revolution. They made revolts, entered the palace, and arrested many people. The Tsar lost control of Russia, so he thought a plan with his brother where Nicholas would abdicate and then Michael would take his place, but his brother never did, and the Tsar regime died forever.
Tsar Nicholas' inexperience and incapacity to manage such a big empire like Russia caused a great unhappiness in the people that ended in two revolutions. Tsar Nicholas was weakened by the 1905 revolution, by the World War I, and finally he was defeated by the 1917 revolution.